edition of the Bullheaded Podcast. I am your host, Sean Tyson. This is episode 34, and I am here with P. Bush and Zoo as usual. How you guys doing today?
Not doing bad, man. Got the all-star lineup set. We got the teams all set up.
Yes, sir.
LeBron and KD with their draft tonight, so I'm excited for the weekend.
Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait for this weekend to be over because I want my Bulls back, baby.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine looking like a superstar against the Pelicans. Great way to close before All-Star weekend, man. Can't wait for this. You kind of check out the games, man, but can't wait.
Yeah. They just had the draft with the NBA doing the All-Star thing, having a couple of pretty, I think, even teams. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about the NFL. And I guess you could say a relatively big star in the NFL went to a new team. That is J.J. Watt. He went to the Arizona Cardinals and, just giving my 2 cents on it. Got a pretty good contract for it. I would say, the contract really doesn't match the production as much, but, he's still a star, and I think it puts Arizona in a decent position to make the playoffs. So I'm going to get the guys' thoughts on who they think or what they think about the signing. Is it going to make them into a playoff contender? Is it just going to be stat padding? I don't know where the guys going to go with this. And P. Bush, I'm going to start with you, man.
This is kind of tough because I think everyone once a couple weeks back we saw DeAndre Hopkins tweet out, come reunite with me in AZ, keep that warm weather going. I think everybody kind of knew that was going to end up being his number one destination. Just reuniting with some of the teammates that he was so salty that got traded by Bill O'Brien, good old unemployed Bill. But JJ, I mean, like you said, Sean, I mean, he's 31. He's, had some injury issues lately the past couple of years. His productivity's gone down a bit year over year. But he's still a monster and he can affect the game for sure. Maybe more so when it comes to just pressuring, taking away, a lot of attention from guys like Chandler Jones now on Arizona, right? So that he can get some more pressure on the quarterback. I think it's a good signing for the Cardinals. Do I think they'll make the Super Bowl? Probably not. I don't think that's that big of a signing. They're still relatively young. It does improve their already improving defense. They have a pretty darn good defense with Patrick Peterson, Budda Baker, and this only solidifies their line. But $31 million, man, that's a lot of money.
That's a massive bet.
And it's funny because I expected them to give him like a 2-year deal. Like that makes sense for his, level of his career, 2 years, his injury issues. But they gave him like $15.5 million a year. Obviously, not all of that's guaranteed in the NFL, but that was the only shock to me was just really the value. But I don't see this pushing them to the championship level. But I do see them making the playoffs next year in a tough division. So that'll be an interesting matchup with them. Man.
All I thought about was Deshaun Watson, man. You see JJ Watt, DeAndre Hopkins being like, oh, man, Briar Pastors over here, man. Gotta feel bad for the man. All his superstars are gone. And this guy obviously wants out too. But, man, JJ Watt, I was actually surprised, man, because I thought he was going to unite with the Watt brothers, man.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, man. If I imagine in my career, this guy pretty much accomplished everything he can as an individual player. Might as well play with the brothers for a couple of years when he's like past his prime, right? And just hang out with them on a team. And I feel like even like the Steelers, that's a good organization too. And I feel like it always has more defense, especially their identity is defense. So, man, when he went to the Cardinals, man, I just like, damn, they gave him so much money. Man,
and that's why.
I think that was the reason why. Because, man, I don't know. If I was in his situation, man, I would probably want to play with my brothers. Man, he got paid. He's on a good team. Like, that division is stacked.
Yeah,
it is a stacked division, especially with
until Russell goes to the Bears. That's for sure.
I knew that was coming.
Oh, you need to pray, man. You need to pray for a miracle to happen because that
you better
is the
believe
definition of a miracle, man. But those leaks about Russell Wilson and the Bears, man. I don't know if you saw the article about Jimmy Garoppolo talking about Jimmy G talking to Russell Wilson about the Chicago. You see that?
Oh, I didn't even see
that.
Oh,
you didn't see that? I saw that.
He was giving the deal on the suburbs.
Yeah, he was talking about Chicago, how great of a city it was. So I'm just saying, there's all this nice little tidbits of news sprinkling out. And who likes leaking those good news, man? So
until it's solidified.
Russell's camp.
Until it's solidified, I'm not making any comments on it, man. I can't get my hopes up. Zoo knows they're let down.
Stop it! You get your hopes up every year, man. You get your hopes up every. They're gonna win 10 wins. Stop.
No. Not about winning, but getting an actually good quarterback. That I've never had my hopes up on that. And this is the first time where there's a chance for it, but I can't let myself do it, man. I can't.
I don't blame you.
But that's still a hell of a division, man. With
Yeah.
Stafford coming in on the Rams, McVay's system, I think, I was telling some of my buddies that I could see him trying to recruit Kenny Galladay out there. That would be a hell of an addition for the Los Angeles Rams, pairing up with Bobby Woods and Cooper Kupp. They need a guy down the field. That's really what they've been missing. And I think, Galladay with Stafford, it's a pretty nasty combo.
Dude, that's
the Niners will be healthy.
Yeah.
The Niners will be healthy. I mean, do you think the Cardinals could win the division, Zoo? Dude,
I do. I love Kyler Murray as a quarterback, man. You know me. I love my dual threat quarterbacks, man. This guy's got weapons. They got a defense. Even the coach is actually decent. Like, I like their play calling. It's actually pretty interesting. It's not like stagnant, very easy play calling. So the Cardinals in that division, man, they can't win it, but I still think the Seahawks are the best team. Russell Wilson returns back because Russell Wilson's just that dude that just wins every year, gets the division championships, man. Doesn't win NFC championships.
Niners. Don't forget about those healthy Niners.
Jimmy Garoppolo, man. I know we have a mutual friend that knows Jimmy G, but man, that dude is so average. He's a nice average quarterback, man.
Yep, he's a Joe Flacco. That's really what he is, and he got paid like Joe Flacco did.
He sure did.
But Joe Flacco he delivered a Super Bowl,
he did.
Man, on one of the greatest playoff runs. Yeah, he was this close. He is Joe Flacco, man. Except he was this close to pulling it off against Mahomes.
Yeah,
man.
So it'll be a fun division to watch next year, I think, and it was a fun division to watch this past year. But I think with the Niners coming back healthy, Cardinals making additions, if the Seahawks stay the same, and I think the Rams are going to be more explosive this year. And that's saying something because they already are explosive, but Stafford can throw the ball down the field way better than Goff can, in my opinion. And so it'll be tough for Murray, man. He's got some solid quarterback competition in there besides Mr. Joe Flacco, of course, Jimmy G.
Yeah, I think that division you could probably argue is going to be the most competitive division. Just with the quarterbacks. Like you say, Jimmy G is probably like the one that's probably lacking the most, but I'm a believer in Kyle Shanahan, so I feel like Jimmy G's gonna have a bounce back here just because of the head coach, because he's a mastermind. I really want to see him with Deshaun just because I feel like he could be more creative. But I don't know what they would have to give up. They probably have
everything.
Everything. It'd be a lot of defensive starters. It would be tough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm interested to see, man. Like I say, the NFL is kind of peeking through the window blinds of how they are looking at their, I guess, like cousin or brother, the NBA, in terms of just movement. And I think we're going to start seeing more quarterbacks move, and it's going to start affecting the divisions. In terms of JJ Watt, I don't know, man. I feel like, to me personally, it felt like a money grab, because I don't know if anybody of the contenders were going to be able to pay him that much money, because that was a massive amount of money. So to me, he can say all he wants to about, I think that was his best option of, kind of like saying, hey, look, I'm going to a team that's on the rise, but really I'm taking this $31.5 million, which I'm not mad at, because, hey, that's life-changing money. So shout out to JJ Watt for that. But switching gears, we're going to go to the NBA. As you all know, it's the All-Star, I guess, day, not really weekend, but
true.
Set to be in Atlanta. They're still going to have the three-point shootout. They're not doing the skills challenge, doing a dunk contest, and then going to have the game. Dunk contest is actually going to be at halftime. So I wanted to ask the guys what's their predictions on like the 3-point contest, dunk contest, I guess the actual results of the game since the teams have been picked. And Zoo, I'm going to start with you, man.
I'm going to be a homer. Zach LaVine for the 3-point shooting contest. Man. Oh, man. This dude's shooting 43%, man. This dude has become a marksman, man. For a guy that was a dunker, was known for dunking, for being an elite athlete with hops that we've never seen before. Like, legit, we've never seen before. This guy was gifted with athleticism, and this guy became a marksman, man. When you combine those two things, stop it. This guy's got no ceiling, man. He's got no ceiling except his basketball IQ. That's the only ceiling for Zach LaVine. Because this man, physically, skill-wise, has everything. And for a 3-point contest, man, after a poor showing in Chicago, he's going to want it, man. He's going to want it. Last year, man, it was a poor outing for the 3-point shooting contest. Obviously, he's going against Chef Curry, which that's going to be tough, man. But I'm going to be a homer, and I can't bet him. Booker. Stop it. Zach LaVine's so much better than Devin Booker now, man.
Yeah.
They were in the same tiers.
Oh.
He elevated, man. He elevated, man.
You gotta
Number 2
relax.
seed in the
I
West.
said it.
You gotta relax.
Chris Paul. Didn't I say the Suns were going to be good this year? Didn't I
We
say they
both
were
did.
automatic? Oh, we both did. Yeah, I said they're easy top 4, man. Automatic lock because of Chris Paul. And what did the coaches say? He's more valuable to the team. He wasn't voted.
No, I agree with that.
That's why he was the initial All-Star pick too.
Yeah, that's my point, man. Chris Paul is driving the train. Zach LaVine is driving the train.
But we're talking about 3-point shooting here, man.
And Zach LaVine's percentage been silly, man. Dude, 8 threes a game, hitting 4 a game, pretty much. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
It just looks easy, man. Just looks easy. So I'm taking him, man. And for the dunk contest, man, I'm taking Cassius Stanley.
Yeah.
Dude.
Really?
Same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same.
If you've seen his highlights, like he's one of those high school mixtape superstars.
Yeah.
I still remember that he went to Duke, but he was just an athlete, right? And the way he jumps, it's very Zach LaVine-esque, man.
Yeah.
Like he does those
Pure
dunks like, between both legs. Like he does that like easy. So this guy, I feel like he have a Zach LaVine type showing, even though like there's gonna be no crowd, obviously, and there's no crowd. Like there's gonna be no hype. They're gonna try to amp up the music, but this dude is gonna put on a show.
Yeah.
And everyone else, Obi Toppin, freaking disaster. Anthony Simons, how the hell is this dude in a dunk contest? Still don't know how.
He got bunnies.
This guy, he's got bunnies.
He's got bunnies for
Oh,
real.
I don't think so, man.
We'll look at some videos of
dude, he's gonna do a
Blazers
dunk
practice.
and just be like, oh, basic dunk. I'd be like, man,
8 out of 10.
no, they're gonna be nice, man. They're not gonna give anything below a 6 or a 7 because they're gonna feel bad for the dude. But he's gonna be putting up some 5 and 4 types of dunks, man. So it's, I'm saying that right now. He's gonna look real bad. And Cassius Stanley, butt whipping, because this dude averaging like a point a game, man. He's only in the league because of one reason: his athleticism.
The Derrick Jones type players, that's who I wanted to be in, man. Obviously, let alone Zach LaVine, because I think he should be.
Last year, he should have done it, man. His
pregame dunk against the Pelicans was probably going to be better than anything we'll see this Sunday in the dunk contest. It's kind of the dunk contest for me is kind of a toss-up. I mean, I do know, yes, Cassius Stanley, his high school mixtape, man, is ridiculous. He had some highlight reel moments that we've seen with multiple players over the years that come out of high school. The Seventh Woodses of the world back then. Some of them burn out. Others are able to scheme into the NBA and just kind of, make a career out of it. And that's what he's doing. So good for him. This could help him a bit. I mean, if you win a dunk contest, that could earn you another 1 or 2 year contract, something small just to keep your livelihood going, which is good. But I think it's kind of a toss up between Obi and Cassius for me. It's kind of hard for me to make a pick.
Winning anything, man. Have you seen his dunks? He's an in-game dunker.
I feel like he's a power dunker too.
Yeah,
he's a power dunker.
I guarantee this is one of his dunks. He's gonna go up and do a
windmill.
Yeah,
I agree.
And people be like,
first one.
Oh,
well, hey, we won't even hear anything. We'll just hear the 2K sounds in the background, man. That's
no. All I hear is Julius Randle go like, "That's my boy. That's my boy."
Yeah, exactly. But so I'm not like that excited for the dunk contest this year. I think I got my dunk contest moment, like I said, pregame against the Pelicans. That was enough for me. Let's hope the 2022 All-Star dunk contest is a little bit better. But
Zach LaVine, man, you're an All-Star, man.
Yeah. This 3-point contest, though, man, I agree with you, Zoo. I think LaVine could make some noise. I think he'll end up being in the top 3, no matter how it turns out. Up there with like the 2 guys we mentioned, Chef Curry and D Book. Now, Devin Booker's trying to go for it and trying to win over Kendall Jenner, as we all know, dude. So he's got something to be fighting for here. He could pop off, man. He's been playing really well. We saw how they annihilated the Bulls in that fourth quarter. Zoo and I were just absolutely pissed off when the Bulls blew that lead against the Suns. So they've been a fun team to watch, man. But I can't pick against Curry, man. You just can't do it. He's like Larry Legend walking in there and is like, all right, who's going for second? That's what Steph Curry does when he walks into that All-Star game locker room. So he's my pick for that. But I want to see your thoughts on the LeBron versus KD teams, man. Because I think this All-Star game is going to be a hell of a fun time. I really do. I mean, I sometimes I don't like that they make like the players pick their own teams, because I think with all the moves to the Nets, the East versus West straight up would actually be pretty interesting to watch with, Giannis, Harden, Kyrie over on that side, with the Celtics brothers and Embiid versus the Jokic's, LeBrons, and, Curry and all that. I think this would have actually been a good year to do East versus West like it used to be back in the day. But what do you think about the players picking?
Obviously, LeBron has the better team. Like, obviously, because first of all, he has the number 1 pick. So first of all, that gives you a massive advantage. Man, you get a pick first. I don't care. You take the last 2 picks. Man. You get Bradley Beal, like whatever, man. Go get Bradley Beal and Jason Tatum, man. I'm gonna get Steph Curry. So man, LeBron's team, man. Yeah, I was actually surprised. Giannis Antetokounmpo, man. You know my thoughts about Giannis, man. That dude just can't shoot, man. No. And that dude in the clutch, he can't create, man. He's just an athlete. Like, even the game against the Clippers, like, he hit a clutch shot. It was a dunk. Like, that was just straight. It wasn't like he just ran in and just jammed it, because the dude's 6'11", and he's a freak athlete, and he's just a better athlete than everyone on the court. He's just not a better basketball player, because his skill-wise, he is the same player as last year, who won MVP, which I give him props for that. That's impressive, winning MVP twice in a row. But the guy's skill is just not that good. And if this game is any closer, Giannis will be down at the paint in the dunker spot, just going for a rebound. Like, the dude, like Joel Embiid is more skilled. And that dude's like 7'1", 280. He got all his weight that he has to carry. And the dude's got dribble move. His jump shot is super pretty, man. Like his post moves, man. Like that mid range, like the dude dropped 50 on my Bulls, man. And I was just like, this is Shaq and Hakeem right now, just roasting Wendell Carter Jr. Man. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, Wendell can't guard no centers at all. But
so you got LeBron.
I got and dude, he's like, he got Steph Curry and Dame Lillard shooting like 28 footers.
That alone,
like too easy. Like they shoot threes so easily. It's like free throws to these dudes, man. Yeah. The way these guys shoot, even from deeper range, man, they're shooting like 40% from like even deeper range, man. So I'm just like, he got the marks, man. He got Giannis, be his pretty much power forward down low, man. And he got Jokic, who's just the most skilled big man, like probably I've ever seen. Like him and Joel Embiid, man. These are like all-time centers, man. Yeah. Like, we went from having no good centers to these guys are. I would say these guys are definitely top 10 centers of all time. Top 10 centers. I said it. I said it. I'm going to say another thing. Man. I'm going to say another thing. Joel Embiid, Jokic, better than Bill Russell by a mile.
I mean, yeah, if I'm drafting a team, I'm going to take either one of those guys.
Absolutely, man. Because you watch these guys play. You watch Joel Embiid.
I pick Embiid. Probably.
Jokic.
I mean, I pick Jokic isn't as physical as a center as.
Dude, he is physical. He's just a little chunky looking, man. He's good in the post, man. He's a little chunky. He got no definition, but the guy can bang down low, gets that little hook shot, man. Oh my lord, Jokic is so talented.
And you forget Doncic too, man. He's got Doncic as well. So he's got Doncic, Curry, and Lillard.
Yeah, man.
Dude. That's that for me alone. I mean, like that. I'm picking LeBron too. I do think Durant actually has the better reserves. He's got Harden, Booker, Zion, Levine, Vooch even. I think, and he's got Mitchell with the second to last pick, Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. The Jazz got disrespected, man. They were the last 2 picks.
What did I say about Rudy Gobert, man? Nobody wants him. Nobody wants him. There's a reason why I kicked him out of my All-Star team.
But did you see who got him? LeBron, man. He's just going to guard Embiid, and he's just going to destroy him.
Do you know what he did to? Do you know what Embiid did to?
I'm just giving you a
He dropped by 38. Easy, man.
It's the All-Star game. There's no defense.
Barbecue chicken on Rudy Gobert. That's my point. There's no defense, so Rudy Gobert is irrelevant.
No, he's just going to dunk on everybody. He is going to be he's going to be Giannis's backup. That's literally what he's going to be. He's just going to be the guy who plants himself in the dunking, and he's going to watch. He'll probably get a couple nice blocks, some easy blocks. That's really all he's going to do. Lobs and dunks. But dude, I'm going with LeBron. I can't pick over. I don't know how they decided who was getting the first overall pick, and maybe it was
5 votes. 5 votes.
Well, he's going to win
Regardless.
that every single
He's
year.
going to win that
so-
every year.
But I do wish Durant was playing because I think that would make
Way more competitive.
way more competitive. Because that kind of outweighs, them having Lillard and Curry if the other team has Durant and Harden. But we don't get to see that, so it should still be a good game.
Yeah, I'm going with Team LeBron too. More so, I think his X factor is going to be Lillard. So I feel like Lillard's probably going to try to gun for the MVP just because he's going to be taking 28, 25 footers. And Dame, man, there's no pressure with him, man. That dude he lets it go.
You see that game winner on the Warriors?
Yeah, it's every week. Every week he has a game winner. It's crazy.
He's got 29 in his career, man.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
the highest currently.
Like, got to start having a discussion about Dame being like, and I know he's Mr. Portland, but man, if he was like on a big 3 or big 2.
Come to Chicago with Zach LaVine. Oh my Lord, that would be incredible.
Yeah,
he could go to New York. He could go to New York and play with Randall.
Oh.
That would be
New York,
market.
Actually, that wouldn't be a bad fit. Like if I don't know, he just signed that contract, so I don't think he can make it happen. But yeah, Lillard and MSG, like with the fans back, going against KD and oh my! Imagine if that was a playoff matchup. Oh my God!
And he's moving to
New
the
York
East.
would shut down. New York would
he's
shut
moving to
down.
the East too, man. He wouldn't have to deal. I mean, the Knicks are a solid team this year. Granted, they're like right at 500, and I think they'd be sitting at like 11th. I want to say around there if they were in the Western Conference. But man, if Lillard made the jump, but then again, they're not even 100% healthy. The Blazers, they're not even there yet. I mean,
CJ.
Yes, CJ Nurkic was out for a while. I mean, this could be a scary team. I'm very pumped for the top 6 seed. How that ends up turning out towards the end of the year, because I think that'll be the biggest thing we're waiting on, because the East is just all jumbled, man. It's just an absolute mess in the Eastern Conference.
It's a little log jam in the East, but I don't know. Dame, a couple more years, maybe he'll think about going to the Knicks. But this last topic we're going to talk about, a couple teams in the NBA that's kind of, I guess, maybe played below expectations or maybe playing above expectations. We're going to single out. I'm going to get the guys to single out a team that they think needs to make a strong second half push, to like maybe salvage the season, show a little prove into the playoffs. And Zoo, I'm going to start with you on this one, man. Which team do you have that needs to make a second half push?
The Chicago Bulls, baby.
God,
Yes, I'm being a homer. Dude, they are 16 and 18 right now, so they're in the 10th seed. Thank God for the wild card game, because, man, the teams below them, trash. Atlanta, Washington, Cleveland, Orlando, Detroit. Most of those teams are going to give up after the next 20 games, because those are pathetic franchises, right? So, obviously, you got to push in, right? Because I want that one-game advantage. One-game advantage, man. You got to win 2 games if you're in the wild card seed in the 9th or 10th seed right now, and it is entirely possible with this East logjam. So, between from the Chicago Bulls to the Boston Celtics, you have the 4th seed. 1.5 games. 1.5 games. Legit, if you go on a 3-game winning streak, a 3-game winning streak could get you to the 6th seed. Like, that can happen. Like, 1 week to another, you go from 10th to 6th to 8th to 5th to 4th. But the
Celtics are only up a game and a half. Celtics are up a game and a half on the Bulls. Yeah, the East and Boston Celtics, epic disappointment, man. Obviously 18 and 17. That is pathetic. They got 2 All-Stars. So and they deserve to be All-Stars. So they do. This is a pathetic team, man. Their point differential only is 0.7, man. It's such a mediocre team, man.
I think Marcus Smart coming back, though, it may change it.
Yeah, Marcus Smart, man. True. But, man, they're 1 game above 500.
Yeah.
1 game above 500. Like, if the freaking Bulls didn't lose to Dame Dollar pulling a miracle, man, they'll be at 500 right now.
Really quick, they need a point guard. Like, I know they have Kemba, but they need a point guard.
Low-key Charlotte looking real smart right now.
If they had oh my God.
Yeah, he let him go. Terry Rozier, he got a cheaper contract. He's still a starter. Yep. I don't really like him that much, but he's a starter. He's getting cheaper. And LaMelo Ball looking like everything
Lonzo was promised.
Dude, this dude might average in his second year 26 and 6 in his second year. Second year.
Easily.
D Rose.
Yeah, legit. This is why I wanted him on the Bulls, man. This is why I wanted him on the Bulls, man.
He wouldn't have been playing the same, bro. Him and Levine, they're not playing together, bro. That ain't happening.
And Levine, my lord, that would be a dynamic backcourt for the next decade, man. Imagine him throwing lobs to Levine because he's a great shooter too, man. Him and at least we got Pat Williams. We got a nice constellation.
I was about to say Pat. Yeah, Pat. I think Pat's
nice.
Yeah.
But man, the thing for me about like the East is like when I'm looking at the West, like there's really no team that stands out that's like underperforming. I know, Zoo, you and I talked about the Nuggets and the Mavs kind of earlier on in the season that they had got off to slow starts, but they both really picked up their game the past 2-3 weeks or so. And they're both climbing up. I think the team that I'm most interested to watch in the West is to see if the Spurs can continue to play well and maintain.
Why?
Zoo hates
such
boring
a boring team, man. It's such a boring roster.
They got players.
No, but I'm saying that's
DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, blah, blah, blah. Those guys are just not they're not the guys. Those are some nice players, man. Some cute
They got
players.
a nice young core, though.
They have a nice young core. All right, dude. And it's Popovich, man. He knows what he's doing. You always talk about good coaching. You love your good coaches.
Yeah, he is a good coach.
But no, I'm not saying I expect them and I hope that they do well, even though I'm not going to root against the team unless it's, maybe the Lakers every once in a while. But I think that that's where the most movement could come in the West is if the Spurs drop out, if the Blazers have, a little bit of a falling out or something like that. The Jazz, start losing a couple games. I think that's where the most movement can be. I think the Nuggets and Mavs moving up, Spurs moving down. But in the East, man, teams that really need to step up, and they both have been kind of taking slow steps, are the Heat and the Raptors, man.
Yeah.
I mean, those are two teams that have been, pretty much perennial playoff teams the past handful of years. Obviously, the Heat had a couple slow years there after the big three left, or disbanded, I should say. But man, they're both starting to pick it up. I really don't believe in Pascal, man. I honestly have still have zero clue why they gave him so much money. I get, he was integral part of a championship, but you got to realize that was mainly Kawhi, man, and some other Kyle Lowry playing relatively well, and Van Vliet had a good coming out. But hey, Fred Van Vliet's been playing pretty damn well lately, Zoo. You guys can't hate on that.
I hate on him. He got paid. Good for him. Undrafted, pretty much close to a max contract. Good for him. But I'm glad he's not a Chicago Bull.
I agree. And the other thing, Zoo, about the Heat, and it was funny because did you see the whole story about Jimmy Butler holding out because Bam didn't get the nod at the All-Star game? So they were going to give Jimmy Butler, one of the wild card spots, but he says he turned it down because they didn't offer it to Bam. They didn't offer it to Bam, and so he says, no, I'm not going if Bam's not going. And what a G of a teammate, dude. Great teammate. He is he's one of my favorite guys in the NBA, man. He's just all about the team and all about winning. I think he's going to end up willing his team into a top 6 seed. I think the Heat, they have to get a top 6 seed, but as you both mentioned, with just this absolutely jam-packed Eastern Conference, so much movement, man. A lot of games left, a little over 50-something% of the games still to play. I think they both just need to keep the ball rolling. I know the Heat kind of had some COVID issues and all that, but hopefully that can get straightened out. They had their protocols down in place. But hey, the same thing happened to the Spurs, man, and it didn't hurt them. So they're playing well. The Heat just need to kind of gather themselves, I think. But the Warriors too, man. That's another team.
Yeah, they're out of the playoffs, man. They're the 9th seed.
They're in the play-in right now. They need to make a move, I think. I think they're going to need to make a move.
Do you know what the move was? LaMelo Ball.
Oh my God!
Yeah, they're gonna regret that.
Dude, they are forever
sure
gonna regret that, man. I told you, James Wiseman, man, gonna be a terrible decision.
Was that their Trubisky pick, Zoo, at number 2?
It was. They were gifted that pick because everyone got injured. Like Curry broke his hand. Obviously, Clay doesn't come back, so they were gifted a bad team for 1 year. They had a golden opportunity to get a superstar. LaMelo Ball's gonna be Yeah, I said it.
At least you're not calling him Mellow. That's all I'm happy about. that is for one man and one man only. And he torched LaMelo on that one, man.
Oh my Lord, stop it, dude. LaMelo Ball gonna be a better basketball player than Melo.
Relax.
I said it.
Relax.
Dude,
he has to get him to
at his age,
the conference final.
What he's doing is incredible. COVID season, none of these games, no preseason games, man, no summer league games. This guy just comes in Australia. Dude, his numbers in America are better than Australia's numbers.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, shooting percentage.
He's
shooting better.
He was like 16.
No, I'm not talking about Lithuania. I'm talking about Australia.
Oh, you're talking about Australia.
When he's like matured his game, like he actually looked like a real player. Lithuania, that's just some kid goofing around, man. Like,
exactly.
He probably played more video games than basketball. But when he took basketball seriously, man, this guy, wow. Shout out to Mike Schmitz, because that analysis by that dude, everything, man. He said he should be the number one pick, and he was absolutely right.
Yeah.
He's got everything you want.
Yeah. I mean, he does. He's pretty much your all-around player. He's got absolute range. I hate his jump shot, though, man. It looks so ugly. The ball family, man. But, hey, it works, so I can't hate on him.
His rebounding.
His rebounding. At 6'6", 6'7", I mean...
He's a better rebounder than Pat Williams, man.
He's their leading rebounder, I think.
Pat Williams is stepping off. Yeah. He just has instincts to get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But have you seen that? Like, he said that his rebounding is so good because he plays like knockout and like 21
with his brothers.
That'll do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Just seeing where the ball bounces. Man. It's all rebounding. Yeah, so
it is.
That's pretty interesting.
But I mean, there's a lot of teams that need to make some tweaks internally, whether it's coaching or starting lineups or who's getting in the rotation. I think, a lot more teams in the Eastern Conference, they really need to buckle down if they want to actually kind of separate themselves from the group and actually solidify like a top 5, 6, 7 seed so that they don't have to, as Zeus said, give that extra game, or they need to win 2 games at that 9th and 10th spot, which I do not want my Bulls having to go through that. So it'll be interesting.
I think maybe one of those teams could be Atlanta because they fired their coach. I think they're promoting Nate McMillan. So
he was a good coach.
That's a solid coach, man.
He was a good coach in Indiana.
And he's a defensive coach.
I still don't know why he got fired.
It made no sense.
He had a good team, and they made the playoffs like every year. Like he lost in the playoffs, but his team's not good. It's just not.
Had to have been something internally, man. Some disagreement with management. That's usually how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I always feel like once you get those middle of the market teams, I feel like once you get past 5 or 6 years, if you're just making the playoffs and you're going to the divisional, they're getting you out of there because they just want a new. Plus, too, now with all the analytics and stuff, I feel like a lot of those guys that were the strongholds, like Nate McMillan, Frank Vogel actually was able to survive because he got to go to the Lakers. But a lot of those coaches that were in that range, he was, because he was at Indiana too and was pushing LeBron to the limit.
Dude, he almost led a team over the Miami Heat Big Three. They were 1 game away. He got fired.
The Bulls.
Yeah, I'm just the Bulls only forced
with Paul George.
Games. Yeah, Paul George and Roy Hibbert. Roy Hibbert was integral. That was injured Danny Granger.
Was it?
Yeah, because Paul George. Yeah, if Danny Granger was in his prime, they would have been even better. Yeah, but Roy Hibbert,
old scorer.
Yeah, 25 a game. 25 a game, man. I still remember that. 25 a game.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of teams that's going to be trying to vie for them last couple of play-in spots. Yeah. But like I said, I think it's in the West is kind of going to be more concrete of who, because we know Minnesota's not going to get in there. Houston's not going to get in there. There's a couple teams in the West where it's but in the East, man, it could be a lot of teams jockeying. So we'll see. I think my dark horse is the Hornets, man. I think they're going to be able to push their way into the playoffs, which is just unbelievable considering they were probably one of the few franchises you looked at and it's they just are not going to be anything for the next couple of years.
Write them off.
It's crazy. You draft one player and it just changes the whole
entire franchise.
Speaks more to what the NBA is all about. You get that one star or one superstar, or whatever, it can change everything. So everybody's vying for that next guy or next person. So
that's why people tank, man. That's why people tank.
That's why, but it doesn't guarantee a championship. So you got to build around them now.
Yeah. You have the GM to do that.
But it's Michael. His track record. It's
got to be the worst. It's got to be.
But he's 1 for 1 in the 2020-2021 season. I'll give him that. He started off solid. He just needs to maybe make a move at the deadline. They have some young players to move around, so they could maybe go for a Bradley Beal. Something like that. That'd be interesting.
That would not be a bad pairing with LaMelo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Him and Rozier, like that three, Rozier, Bill.
Nah, they
Nah, they
trade
would ship him
Graham.
Yeah.
Graham, Rozier.
Picks.
All your draft
all
picks.
your own players, Miles
All
Bridges.
the
Like, all
picks,
your
yeah.
Give me
Bridges, that would be
Monk.
tough because he's got a
Yeah.
connection with Melo Bridges. That'd be tough to give him up.
True.
Don't they have PJ Washington? They can
PJ Washington.
throw him in there.
Nice group of young core. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. So they have some solid pieces to move around if they, but it really depends. Maybe they just decide to not do anything this year and just kind of be like, oh, we're exceeding our expectations and wait for next year. And
yeah, it's
maybe try
Charlotte.
and make a signing.
It's Charlotte. They if they make the playoffs, they're gonna be able to do that for a couple of years because they haven't. They're not consistently
because they're in the
looked at
East.
the playoffs. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. So yeah, but we're gonna keep the conversation moving forward next week with a little bit more college basketball. Like I said, I think the conference tournaments are going to be starting in a week or two, maybe a week, not sure.
So I'm starting today.
Yeah, some of the conference,
some of the smaller
ones
ones
starting today. Yeah, so we're going to start talking about that. Maybe getting some picks. Bracket's going to be coming out soon, so we may do something with that. Also, going to be talking more about the NCAA and then like high school seniors and elite prospects, G League, all that stuff. Because Overtime came out with something today about them doing the things with high school players, paying them, and they would have to forfeit their eligibility. So we got a lot of stuff that we can cover in the next couple of weeks with basketball because it is basketball season with a little bit of NFL sprinkled in there if somebody gets traded. So as usual, make sure you guys follow us on bullheaded_pod. Make sure that you follow us on specifically Spotify, Apple. We should be on Google Podcasts. I checked last week. We should be on there. And Anchor, which is how we produce this podcast. And as always, for me, Zoo and P. Bush, we out.